I'm 27 years old, and for the past 2 years, I've been dating Chloe. We moved in together just over a year ago, and from day one, I knew I was punching above my weight, way above. When we first met, I couldn't believe my luck. It was at a downtown bar someplace with craft cocktails and dim lighting. I was there with my buddy Mike, just grabbing a beer after work. She was at a table with her friends, laughing at something, and when our eyes met across the room, she smiled. Not just any smile, one that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. I bought her a drink. We talked for hours, and by the end of the night, I had her number. The first few months were incredible. She had this flirty personality that made you feel like the most important guy in the world. She'd text me first thing in the morning, send me selfies throughout the day, always finding ways to touch me when we were together. The sex was off the charts. She was adventurous, enthusiastic, always initiating. I'd never been with someone so confident, so sure of what she wanted. I remember one time, early in our relationship, we were at a party and she pulled me into a bathroom. "I can't stop thinking about you," she whispered, kissing me passionately. We almost got caught, but it was thrilling. That was the Chloe I fell for, spontaneous, exciting, seemingly as into me as I was into her. We started hanging out constantly. Within 3 months, I was staying at her place more than my own. After 6 months, we moved in together because rent was killing us and traveling between places was a pain. It was her idea, but I jumped at it. I felt lucky. Like I'd been chosen by this amazing woman who could have anyone. Her dad helped us move her stuff out of her old apartment. As we loaded the last box into my truck, he clapped me on the shoulder. "She's your problem now," he said with a laugh. I laughed too, thinking it was just a dad joke, not laughing now. The minute she unpacked her last box, something changed. It was subtle at first, little things I brushed off because I was still riding high on the fact that this incredible woman chose me. Suddenly, chores were my job. "Baby, can you take out the trash?" "Babe, the dishes are piling up." "Babe, we need groceries." Cooking was my job. "I'm not really good at cooking," she'd say, even though I'd seen her make perfectly fine meals for herself before we moved in together. Cleaning was my job unless it was rearranging her skincare bottles. Then she was all over it, spending hours organizing them by size and brand. Sex started slowing down, but I didn't complain at first. Acts of service is my love language. I've always liked doing stuff for the people I care about, making them happy, taking care of them. So I kept picking up the slack, making dinner every night, doing the laundry, fixing things around the apartment because she kept forgetting or didn't know how. But I started to get worn down. The constant demands, the lack of appreciation, the feeling that I was the only one putting in any effort. I'd ask her to help more. "Can you please take out the trash? Can you vacuum once a week?" And every time, she'd give me excuses or empty promises. "I'm so tired from work," she'd say, even though she worked a desk job while I was doing physical labor. "I'll do it tomorrow," she'd promise. But tomorrow never came. Sometimes she'd do it once, like she was checking a box, but nothing ever stuck. I started feeling like a living butler with kissing rights. The only time she seemed genuinely interested in me was when she wanted something or when we were around her friends, and she could show off how devoted I was. Last month, my buddy Mike came over to watch the game. Chloe was supposed to be out with her friends, but she came home early. She walked in, saw us on the couch with chips and beer, and immediately got pissed. "Really? You're just going to mess up the living room right after I cleaned it?" she snapped. I was taken aback. "Chill out. We'll clean it up. It's just a few chips." "You always say that," she said, storming off to the bedroom. Mike looked at me, raised an eyebrow. "Dude, what was that about?" I shook my head. "No idea. She's been like this a lot lately." "You need to talk to her," Mike said. "That's not cool." I knew he was right, but I didn't want to rock the boat. I was still convinced that if I just tried harder, did more, she'd go back to being the girl I fell for. The stress was starting to affect me physically. I wasn't sleeping well. My shoulders were constantly tense. And I'd started getting tension headaches. At work, I was making stupid mistakes, nothing dangerous, but enough that my supervisor pulled me aside. "Everything okay?" "Man," he asked. "You seem off your game lately?" I just shrugged. "Yeah, just tired. Not sleeping well." He nodded. "Take it easy. We need you focused." I wanted to tell him everything. How I was working my ass off to provide for a woman who didn't appreciate me. How I was doing all the chores and cooking and cleaning. How I was barely getting any sleep because I was so stressed. But I didn't. That's not how guys operate. You suck it up. You push through. You don't burden other people with your problems. Fast forward to now. I'm driving Chloe to her friend's house for a girls' night. She's going to drink tequila and take blurry selfies with her phone held above her head. I'm planning to go home, stop by the hardware store, and fix the back fence because that's what Saturdays look like now. She's in the passenger seat, feet up on the dash, scrolling through her phone and laughing at something. You're going to be fixing things while I'm out drinking. Uh-huh, she says in that cutesy baby voice I used to find adorable. Now it just hits wrong. Something in my head finally connects. This isn't just a moment, this is our whole relationship. Fun, carefree, catered to for her. Meanwhile, I'm practical, exhausted, responsible. I do all the heavy lifting, and she just floats, even emotionally, if she has a bad day. We talk about it for hours. I listen. I comfort her. I make her feel better. If I have a bad day, she scrolls through Instagram while I talk, occasionally nodding and saying uh-huh without really listening. Last week, I came home from work exhausted. I'd been up since 5 a.m., worked a 10-hour day, and just wanted to sit down. Rough day? She asked, not looking up from her phone. Yeah, really rough, I said, sitting down next to her. Uh-huh, she murmured, already back to scrolling. Hey, can you order dinner? I'm starving. I just stared at her. I just worked 10 hours. Can you order dinner for once? She looked at me like I suggested she rob a bank. But I don't know what you want. You're so picky? I wasn't picky. I'd eat pretty much anything. But that was her go-to excuse whenever I asked her to take initiative on anything. I used to justify it because she was so hot, so sweet at first. But now I see it was an act. She got me moved in and stopped performing. Her dad literally said, "She's your problem now," when I helped her move out of her old place. I laughed at the time, not laughing now. She's been pushing marriage talk for the last few months, sending me ring videos, making fun of her friend's cheap engagement, saying she wants a dress from a designer I can't even pronounce. She joked that I better not propose with a ring under 5K. I get sweaty just thinking about car insurance. And she's talking about a 5K ring like it's nothing. Last week, she showed me a ring on her phone. This is the minimum I'd accept, she said, pointing to a price tag that made my stomach drop. Anything less would be embarrassing. I just nodded, not knowing what to say. I make decent money, but I'm not rich. I have bills, student loans, a car payment. The thought of dropping 5K on a ring, plus the cost of a wedding, plus the fact that she'd probably expect me to pay for everything. It was overwhelming. The financial pressure was getting to me. I'd started dipping into my savings just to cover our regular expenses, and I knew I couldn't keep it up much longer. When I tried to talk to Chloe about budgeting, she'd get defensive. Why are you trying to control everything? She'd ask. I thought you wanted to take care of me. I did want to take care of her, but I also wanted to be taken care of sometimes. I wanted a partner, not a dependent. Sex is barely there these days. She's more intimate with her phone charger than she is with me. When we do have sex, it feels like a chore, something she's doing to keep me happy. Not because she actually wants me, but I kept trying. Planned date nights, left little notes in her bag, was fighting to keep her interested while she was already emotionally clocked out. Last weekend, I planned a nice dinner at home, cooked her favorite meal, bought a bottle of wine, set up candles. She came home, took one look at the table, and said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you I made dinner plans with Sarah. Can we do this tomorrow?" I was crushed. I spent all afternoon making this. She shrugged. "I'm sorry. I forgot. We can eat it tomorrow." We didn't eat it tomorrow. It sat in the fridge until I threw it out 3 days later. I drop her off at her friend's place. She kisses me without looking up from her phone. It feels like a goodbye. I drive home, sit on the couch, and do a pros versus cons list like I'm prepping for a school debate. Pros: she's hot. She has good music taste. Sex is amazing when it happens. Cons: entitled, lazy, emotionally unavailable, zero initiative. Sexless: demanding, treats me like an assistant with benefits, expects marriage like it's a reward for putting up with her. I realize I've been so scared of losing her, but I never stopped to ask if she was actually good for me. I thought having her meant I'd made it, but I'm just tired and broke. I make the decision. I'm going to break up with her. The next morning, after she wakes up, still hungover, hair in a bun, wearing a hoodie that I bought her, she starts telling me how insane the night was. I don't even hear most of it, just waiting for the right moment. Finally, I tell her, I don't think this is working anymore. She freezes, looks at me like I just slapped her. Wait, what? I tell her I've been thinking about it for a while, that I don't see a future here. She blinks a few times, then goes into full offense mode. So you're breaking up with me, like I was supposed to be the desperate one. She says, wow, like she's trying to guilt trip me into backing down. But we're meant to get married. I tell her, yeah, I was But now I'm not. Her voice cracks, goes from smug to stunned. She's scrambling now, says we can work on things, says I'm just stressed, says you're making a mistake. But I'm calm because the fog is gone. The spell is broken. I don't want to spend my life being a manservant with a mortgage. I pack a bag and head to my mate's place. Mike takes one look at me and says, finally, I crash on his couch for a few days, trying to figure out my next move. The apartment lease is in both our names, so I need to figure that out. We have a bunch of shared stuff, furniture, kitchen appliances, electronics. I need to decide what I want to keep, what I'm willing to let go of. Chloe keeps texting me, alternating between begging me to come back and calling me names. You're making a huge mistake, she writes. No one will ever love you like I do. Then, 5 minutes later, you're selfish and immature. Good luck finding someone else who puts up with your shit. I don't respond to any of it. I just need space to think, to breathe, to remember what it's like to not feel constantly drained. A week after I moved out, I get a text from her. By the way, I cheated on you anyway, multiple times. Hope you're happy with your decision. I stare at the message for a long time. Part of me is hurt, pissed off that she betrayed me like that. But another part of me is just relieved. Relieved that my decision was the right one. Relieved that I got out when I did. Relieved that I don't have to waste any more time on someone who never really cared about me. I don't know how a woman can be willing to marry someone they're still cheating on. She obviously didn't like me as much as I liked her. But I provided a relaxed life that she wanted. Is that really enough for her to want to marry me? Over the next few weeks, I start the process of untangling our lives. I find a new apartment, smaller but cheaper. I go back to the old place when Chloe's at work to get my stuff. I take what's mine, leave what's hers, and split the rest down the middle. It's weird, seeing our life together packed into boxes. 2 years of memories, of fights and makeups, of good times and bad, all being sorted into keep and get rid of piles. Mike helps me move into my new place. As we're carrying boxes up the stairs, he says, "You seem different. Lighter." I nod. I feel different. Like I can finally breathe again. "That's because you're not carrying her dead weight anymore," he says. And I laugh because it's true. I start going to the gym again. Something I haven't done regularly since we moved in together. I start hanging out with my friends more. Reconnecting with people I haven't seen in months. I start cooking for myself. Simple meals that I actually enjoy instead of complicated dishes that Chloe requested but never appreciated. One night, a few weeks after the breakup, I'm at a bar with Mike and some other friends. This girl comes up to me cute, funny, actually asks me questions about myself and listens to the answers. We talk for hours. And when she gives me her number, I feel a spark of something I haven't felt in a long time. Possibility? I don't know if anything will come of it, but for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to find out. I'm not scared of losing someone anymore. I'm not scared of being alone. I'm not scared of not being good enough, because I am good enough. And I deserve someone who sees that, someone who appreciates me, someone who wants to be my partner, not my beneficiary. The punching bag is finally free, and it feels damn good.